Hi guys, and welcome back to the Alpha Tone channel. My name is Prime M, and today I have another story for you guys. Yes, and this story is a story about how I almost lost my life again. This guy in the army is a major general, big top high ranking guy in the army, saying that I slept with his wife 23 times and he has proof. Let's get into this story, guys. Alright, so I was sitting on my chair in my apartment, looking through the window, and behind me there was a major general with his gun in the back of my head, ready to put one in it. He is saying he has proof that I messed with his wife 23 times while he was away, and she is on her way now to my apartment, and as soon as she opens the door and come into the apartment, he's gonna put one in my head, he's gonna give her 7, and he's gonna put the last one in his mouth. And then NYPD will come and pick up all 3 of us. And I'm like, shit. And you may ask, but Prime, how did you get to this point? How did you get here? Let's get into the story. So I was living in the Bronx, right? Just moved to this new building. I'm living there for like 2 months now. I saw this chick in the lobby once, Spanish looking chick. She looked good and everything. I didn't say anything to her because, I don't want to mess with any girl at my building. I don't want to get evicted and shit like that. I'm just, I just moved in. I'm brand new in the building. I'm just keeping a low profile. So I didn't say anything to her. So the next day I went to Starbucks to buy, a mocha cookie crumble. And I saw her in Starbucks. And she said to me, hey, aren't you the gentleman, from the building around there? And I'm like, yeah. I said, I saw you yesterday. And she said, yeah, that was me. And, we introduced ourselves. She tell me her name is Isabel. I tell her my name and stuff. Nice to meet you. I'm talking with her. She seems nice and everything. And I said to her, would you like to hang out? Let's vibe later on in the evening, in the afternoon. And she was like, no, she got work and stuff. And I'm like, cool. And I'm like, okay, so what about tomorrow? Let's meet up back here tomorrow for some Starbucks again. And she was like, okay, sure. I'm like, cool. Meet up here at 10 a.m., and we can vibe after. And she was like, bet. I didn't take her number or anything because I'm like, the Starbucks is right around the corner from the building where we live. Where I live. I don't even know if she lived there at this point, but I saw her once there and she recognized me. So I'm like, I don't even need her number. If tomorrow I show up at the Starbucks at 10 and she's not there, so be it. So the next day, 10 o'clock, I'm on my way to the Starbucks. I ran into her in the lobby, and she was like, oh, perfect timing. And me and we laughed. So we leave the building together. We went to Starbucks, we there, we talking. And she tell me she got a husband, he's in the army. He's a big guy in the army. She didn't tell me his rank, but she told me he's a big guy in the army. I'm like, oh wow. But she said he's away right now at war and she doesn't live here, but I didn't question who she's here with, you know what I mean? I'm just thinking she's cool, we're hanging out, I'm getting to know her. I know she has a husband in the army and stuff. And, I'm just there as friend at this point because I heard she has a husband now, so I have to respect that. Anyways, we grabbed the Starbucks and we went for a walk and everything. She my little friend and we talked. Come back to the apartment. She went her way. I went to my apartment, and that's where I'm like, I'm cutting my losses. This girl is married. She didn't say that to me yesterday. Maybe she got a Starbucks out of me. Maybe she's just a nice girl and she wasn't, looking for anything or looking to date. It was just, and I accept that. So I didn't see her for maybe 2 more days after. I was leaving the building and I saw her entering the building and she was asking me, well, man, where's the super office? So we stand there right by the door talking. I'm like, yeah, I can show you. So we turn back into the building and I go show her the super office. And, I told the super, I have some issues myself. I just realized, stuff in my apartment and he's going to come and check it. And, we talking and then we start talking about other stuff. in sports and all of that. And we in the super office for like an hour, to be honest with you. And then we leave and go our separate ways. Now one day, I was leaving the building. I went outside, I saw this guy, he's in the army pants. He didn't have the army jacket on, but he had, the t-shirt like this, but it's the green, the army looking color one. And he has the army hat on. And he's calling me by my name. He called me so confidently, I had to answer. It's like this guy knows me. So I answered, and he come over to me, and he introduced himself to me, and he said, I've been watching you and my wife. She came here every day to spend time with you 23 times. And I'm like, who is your wife? The guy went on his phone, he showed me a video of me and Isabel at Starbucks getting coffee. He showed me a video of me and her walking in the park. He also showed me a video of me and her when I was leaving the building that day. He showed me a video, me letting her in the building, and then we went to my apartment. But that was when me and her meet up and we went to the super. That wasn't to my apartment, but he has on video of me and her meeting up at the building door, but to him, going to the apartment. So when he shows me that, I'm like, oh, Isabella, she told me she had a husband in the army. You know what I mean? And I never met her 23 times. What are you talking about? And does she live here? And he was like, no, she doesn't live here. She come here to see you every day. And I'm like, what do you mean she come here to see me every day? Are you stalking her? And he was like, no, I'm not stalking her. And I'm like, but if you're stalking her, that's a crime. And I'm like, but to be honest with you, sir, she didn't come to see me 23 times. I thought she lived here. And I can explain my part of the situation. And he was like, listen to me, wise ass. She drive my car, come here every day 23 times. So I have all right to track my vehicle. So you don't tell me I'm stalking her. I'm stalking my car, and my car comes here 23 times in the last month that I'm away. And I came back and I have video of you and her. You are the guy living in this building. You are the one I see her with. What happened? And I'm like, maybe there's someone else in the building. It can't be me. I mean, gotta be someone else. So he was like, she's coming in an hour. You know what I mean? You said you had her 3 times out of the 23 times she's been here, so you're guilty. To be honest, he said that I had her 3 times, but it's, it wasn't anything sexual I was thinking in my mind. You know what I mean? But he does have me on video, so if something is wrong, this guy have proof. You know what I mean? So I was kind of cooperating, even though in the back of my head, I didn't have sex with her. But when he said I had her 3 times, I hang out with her 3 times. But anyways, I decided to, let's go on a little investigation then. Because, if someone else here is, they have the bigger portion of your wife. You know what I mean? I'm just 3 out of the 23. Who is the 20? So he had an idea. He said, all right, let's go up to your apartment. And, we can see from there when she comes. And I'm like, I bet. You know what I mean? And he was alright. I mean, he seems like an industry dude. You know what I mean? So we went up to my apartment and stuff. And, we there. And he was talking to me and I'm talking to him. We there. And then this dude pulls out a gun and tell me to sit on a chair. And I'm like, what the hell? Come on, man. I'm trying to help you out. And he's like, yo, shut the F up. Sit down on this chair. She's coming right now around the corner. And I'm like, damn. And he put me on a chair and the chair facing towards the window. I can see the car pulling up. And then, I'm thinking this guy's not going to do me anything. He's a part of the law. That's what I'm thinking. So when he pulls out a gun and he tells me to sit down on the chair, I'm like, oh, shit. And he said, yo, she's coming right now. And then when she comes up into your apartment right now, I'm gonna put one through your head, and I'm gonna put 7 in her, and then I'm gonna put the last one in my mouth. And then I'm like, damn. I'm sitting on the chair, and I'm looking through the window. I saw she pull up in the car. You know, she came out of her car, and I'm looking through the window, looking at her, and he's looking at her. You know what I mean? He still has his gun on me. I mean, this guy, he's well trained. There's no way I could make any move and try to disarm him. You know, he has his thing cocked and pointed at me, ready to blow my head up. And we were waiting on her to come up. 1 minute passed, 2 minutes passed. I mean, it's one of the longest 2 minutes I've ever had. And I'm sitting on the chair, waiting. In the back of my head, you know, I know she's not coming to my apartment because we didn't have anything set up. She never came to my apartment before. I doubt she knows my apartment. You know what I mean? So I was kind of comfortable. But this dude, he was there, and I'm like worried about him. 5 minutes passed, she didn't show up. And then he was like, damn, what's gonna happen now? She didn't show up. I'm like, I told you. You tell me what's gonna happen. I told you I don't know her. And he was like, call her. I'm like, how am I supposed to call her? I didn't even have her phone number or nothing. And he was like, I'm gonna call her in private. Tell her to come to your apartment. I'm like, she doesn't know my apartment. I'm gonna have to tell her over the phone. He was like, don't be smart with me. Just call her and tell her, come to your apartment. I'm like, all right, bet. So he dials the number in private. I call. She answered. I say, hey, Isabel, this is Romaine. She's like, Romaine? I'm like, yeah, just come to my apartment. Come to my apartment. She's like, what's your apartment? So I looked at him like, you know, I gave him that stupid ass look, you know. And then he gave me that, like, tell her. And I'm like, you know, my apartment is X, Y, and Z. And she was like, okay, I'm coming up there. Are you okay? I'm like, yeah, I'm fine. I have something to show you. Just come through. And then I hang up. And then he was there. I'm like, man, and see, I told you she didn't even know my apartment. You know what I mean? But he still wasn't even believing me. Then, about 5 minutes after, my door opened, she stepped in. And then she was like, honey, what are you doing in here? And then he had the gun. I'm sitting on the chair. She was like, put the gun away. What's wrong with you? Romaine is a nice guy. How did you meet Romaine? And she was like, he was there and he was quiet. He had that, you know, confused look on his face. But he was still thinking. He saw me at Starbucks with her. He saw me enter the building with her. You know what I mean? He know that she doesn't live here. Why is she even here? You know what I mean? Those questions he still have in the back of his head. So that's why he was quiet. And I recognize that. Even though she was acting normal and everything, like, what the hell is this? And how did you meet Romaine? And stuff like that. He wasn't having it. And I recognized that. And I was like, he said, no, he tracked your car. You doesn't live here. And you came here 23 times this month to stay with me. Can you clarify that for me, please? And she was like, honey, no, oh my God, what's wrong with you? I know it's your car. I know you can track it. I know you want to make sure I'm safe, but my aunts live here and I was just spending some time with her while you're away. She lives downstairs on the 4th floor. You should come and meet her. Oh my God, Romaine is such a nice guy. We even went to Starbucks. He showed me around and showed me the super office because my aunt, she is ill and she wanted to find a super and Romaine helped me out and stuff like that. And then he put the gun away. You know what I mean? And I was like, damn, I'm so lucky. And then she was like, honey, I mean, this girl, she was so sweet and feminine. I even start feeling bad in myself, thinking, you know, maybe after 2 weeks, I can smash this chick after getting to know her while, you know, the husband is away. But man, when I realized, oh, she was towards her husband and she's so joyful and jolly and man, I'm just like, damn, this girl is something else. You know what I mean? And then the husband, you know, he apologized to me and you know, and he said, yo, stay away from my wife when you see her, don't take her to no more Starbucks and stuff like that. Don't be a smart, wise ass, Romaine. That's what he said to me. And I'm like, yeah, man, you're right. And, you know, that was a terrible experience, man. I'll never forget it. And he was like, yeah, you'll be all right. You're a tough dude. You did all right. And then she was laughing and he was laughing. And then they leave, you know, and that was that. And the moral of the story is, guys, you know, not every girl you see out there who act nice with you and, you know, feminine likes you or you should try and smash. Some girls are just genuinely nice and feminine, you know, and they just go through and, you know, happy. And this army guy, you know, he has one. You know what I mean? And congrats to him and her. And, you know, and another moral of the story is, guys, some girls out there, they have crazy boyfriends and they will track them down. They will find that she comes to your house and they might do you dangerous stuff. So you might want to be careful with the girls you invite to your house because, you know, she might have a crazy boyfriend tracking her. Thanks for watching this video, guys. I hope you learned something, and please like, share, comment, and subscribe. Do all the good stuff to this video. And you know, this is another story I will try and keep and give you guys story from time to time. You know, in this story, is it a real story? Is it true? Is it false? You may never know. Maybe I make that one up. But yeah, look out for more story. And I really enjoy, you know, giving you guys this story. And I'll see you in the next one. Peace.